Hi everyone, very warm welcome to my podcast Soulful Stories. Today is the episode number 3. If you are here first time, my name is Kinga and I write books, blogs and short stories. So you can read those stories on my blog page, www.kinga.blog. I have written a couple of books. The first one was Dreamfort, was about adding value to the world, finding purpose in your work. And the second book was The Sacred Mountains. It was a story about the girl who decided to follow her intuition, follow her dream against what her village elders advised. So, story about a girl who goes beyond the river and discovers a new world. But today I want to tell you another story about a dreamer, a story about following your dreams. I trust stories have got those very special powers to inspire us or heal us in very special way, and hence we tell them to children, but I trust the adults can also be inspired by parables. So without further ado, let me tell you a story about following your dreams, story about a young dreamer. It was early spring, and the young dreamer went to a beautiful park where all the flowers and trees were just waking up and butterflies were dancing an unknown happy song. She sat down on a bench on a Sunday afternoon and wrote her dreams in a notebook, and then she said to herself, "I feel my whole future is just ahead of me. All my dreams are ready to be chased. The world is my oyster." Then the dreamer heard the wind's voice at her shoulder. "You can have a decent life without chasing your dreams. You can have a nice job, go on nice holidays, maybe even take a year off. I will give you all the nice, easy things you can wish for. Just don't aim too high and put your notebook aside." So the young dreamer listened to the wind, whose advice was nice and polite. The seasons and years went by. The dreamer had listened to what the wind had told her in the park that day. She went from one job to the next, and all had gone well, and life had passed by smoothly over the years. Then she met 3 friends that the wind introduced to her: Comfort, Procrastination, and Toxic. They became friends for life. Comfort said to her, "It's okay, just the way it is. You don't want to be a rock star, do you?" Then Procrastination always told her, "You can do it tomorrow." She always served her a glass of wine on Friday and a nice bucket of ice cream on Sunday. And she used to say, "Just so you know, there will be another time to chase your dreams." Then the third friend, Toxie, told her that other people are more talented than her. Toxie told her that she was not enough to aim for stars and pursue her dreams. Toxie also told her that her dreams were crazy, insane, and unrealistic. Toxie also told the dreamer that the glory days are not for average people like her. And so, the dreamer continued her life with Comfort, Procrastination, and of course, little Toxie staying close by her side. And so she lived her entire life following a routine with a pretty easy day-to-day existence and no more struggles than the average person was meant to have. Then the years went by. Since that memorable spring when she sat on the bench, the young dreamer had worked hard in the nearby city for the last 30 years, just as the wind advised. After 30 years of a decent routine, she retired and went back to the park. The dreamer sat down on a bench, as she had done 30 years earlier, and opened her notebook from that time. It seemed like yesterday, only that the spring had changed into winter. The flowers had lost their petals already. The trees were covered in white snow. The butterflies were gone, and the only thing that the young dreamer could recognize was the wind, now harsh and joyless, crushing memories from the past over sad, frozen trees. The wind said, "You had 30 years of nice routine and easy life. You had easy life and nice, comfortable job. I presume you have no regrets." The dreamer had not responded to that. She looked at her notebook and thought to herself, "I was a wise and courageous person. I had dreams on paper. The whole world was waiting to be conquered. Yet here I am. I have not achieved my dreams. I have lived a pretty decent life. Yet something is missing. Although I had a good job, I had no butterflies in my stomach. I had an easy life, but no sparks lighting up the nights. I had nice days passing me by, but I had no clear direction and no road to look forward to following every day. Now, the freezing wind is crushing me to the bottom of my heart. Now I am old, and the time is gone. I listen to the warm wind and friends that he sent me, who told me, put your dreams and ambitions and goals on hold. It's just not worth it. The only proof that all my ideas, pursuits and dreams existed sometime in the past is the notebook. But it's too late now. It's too late. Wake up! The dreamer heard from a distance. Luckily, the dreamer was only experiencing a nightmare. The dreamer woke up halfway through her life and said to herself, "Hey, how lucky I am to have had such a bad dream. How lucky that this was just a nightmare, that I had already retired. And where is the notebook? Where is the notebook? I've got to find my notebook. I've got to chase my dreams. I've got to keep the butterflies, bring sparks to my life. I need to set the goals and set my purpose on the road." So, do you recognize maybe yourself if you are a creative soul or person who have got your own dreams, and maybe they're a bit awkward and maybe they are weird and maybe they seem a bit unrealistic, and you hear this wind, this little chatter behind you? Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Just focus on the day-to-day, do your basics, get on with your life, forget about your dreams, your crazy stuff. Get realistic. And, we may have those voices in our heads, but what you have to do, you have to keep following your heart and you have to try your best, improve your skills, and do things that are important to you. And I come back to that theme of dying at some point in life, being old at some point in life. I brought this theme and subject in podcast number 2, when the artist died and her soul went onto the rainbow to rest for a little bit. And I brought this theme here as well, because that is inevitable. That will happen one day, where we will all have to look back 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And then maybe we'll look back into our notebook where the dreams were stored and we'll think, oh, that was the past. Why didn't I? So have this in mind. This is just a short story. I hope it paints a picture in your mind when you think about your life, when you plan your life, when you think about your passions, your dreams. Maybe you want to travel, but people are telling you don't do it. Maybe, I don't know, you want to change your job and people say stay in a comfortable place. Maybe you've already started doing things, but you procrastinate a lot and the days go by. Maybe your goal is to, I don't know, be healthier, and somehow you get those healthy snacks at the weekend. And the years go by and nothing is changing. So at some point that will be a very painful story of your life, when you will look back and you will think, oh, I got on well with the wrong people. My friends for life were toxic, procrastination, and who else was there? So at some point in your life, you will look back at the years, days, and maybe you will think, oh, I got on with the wrong people. I was hanging out with the wrong friends. And here in the story, these are comfort, procrastination, and of course, little toxic staying close by your side. So have a look into your notebook. Do your checklist. Who are you hanging out with? Are you sticking to the comfortable things? Are you procrastinating on your goals, your little or big dreams? Are you hanging out around toxic people, or have you got that toxic part of you inside of you that is again stopping you and putting the wrong things in front of you? Be very careful on those three. They are very dangerous. And have in mind that one day there will be a day when you will open your notebook and think, oh, I haven't done it. So I have written this story not to be negative and regretful, but fear is a big motivator. It can be a big demotivator, but I'm using the concept of fear in this story to scare you a little bit. What your life may be like, what your thoughts may be like in 30 years from now when you give up on your goals, on your dreams, when you don't pursue what's inside you. So as mentioned previously, fear can stop us and can also motivate us. So write your goals in your notebook, put a little flowers around it, and use that fear to motivate you to stop procrastination, to stop the toxicity around you. Both, as mentioned, it could be internal or external, and stop being comfortable and do the difficult part, and that will lead you one day to a place on a beautiful bench in a beautiful park that will be your life garden with beautiful flowers that will be your creations and your achieved goals. And that is a beautiful place to imagine. That is more beautiful than the lost and ugly winter. So I hope you will stick this image in your memory. Imagine this beautiful flowery garden, and all the flowers are your dreams that you have achieved. And you sit on that bench in 30 years in that little garden and think to yourself, I've done well. I'm happy to go now. And here, if you heard the second podcast, I'm coming back to that theme of contentful life that the artist in the second podcast, in the second story, has achieved. And she sat down on a beautiful rainbow at the end of her life. And she was just happy to go. And she was ready. And she had no regrets. And we will have some regrets in life. But the less, the merrier. So thank you for listening today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do share, subscribe. I will appreciate, and there will be more stories coming up in the next weeks. Thank you.